Hey, hi, and welcome to this video on introducing Swing in Java. This is a video that is focused on introducing the Swing controls to develop GUI applications using Java programming language. First and foremost, let me introduce myself. I am B. Sam Daniel Raj from First MCAD. My roll number is 2152134112 from Bishop Weber College, Trichy, and we are going to explore Swing with me. In this video, we are going to see four important things. First is the introduction to Swing, that is a formal introduction to Swing in Java. Then we are going to see the features or the advantages of Swing and why we are choosing it to uh, make applications with it. And next we are going to see about the components that are available in Swing. And at last we are going to see a real world application of a Swing program. First, let us go and explore what is Swing. Let us first start with the basic definition of Swing. A Swing is a Java Foundation class or library or an extension of an abstract window toolkit, that is the AWT. Swing offers much improved functionality over AWT, new components, expanded components features, excellent event handling with drag and drop support, and many other new support functionalities that are not available in the AWT. Swing has about 4 times the number of UI components just as AWT and is part of the standard Java distribution. Next, we are going to see about what are all the features that allow us to choose Swing over any other GUI application development platforms. There are four main reasons for choosing Swing over other controls. The main features of Swing is that it is lightweight, it is has rich controls, it is highly customizable, and it has a pluggable look and feel. Swing is components independent of the native operating system's API, as Swing API controls are rendered mostly using pure Java code instead of underlying operating system calls. This makes the Swing applications very lightweight and portable. Also, rich controls. Swing provides a rich set of advanced controls like tree, tap pane, slider, color picker, and table controls, and many other new controls that are not available in AWT. And this is an advantage of Swing. It is highly customizable in the way that Swing controls can be customized in a very easy way, as a visual appearance is independent of internal representation. That is, we can make any icon or anything, any control as we like. We can change its color, we can change its style, we can change its appearance, everything. It is highly customizable. And the last feature is that it is a pluggable look and feel. Swing based GUI application look and feel can be changed at runtime based on available values. That is, if we use a Swing, it changes according to the client's ability, the computer's ability to present it, and it also goes on and off, and it adapts to the situation of the computer that the client uses. Next, we are going to see some of the components that are available in Java Swing. So there are 18 components listed here, but other than that, there are many components that are available. Next, we are going to see about the classification of Swing components. In this map, we can see how Swing components have been classified as containers and J components, and in that containers are classified into windows and panels, while J components are classified into a list of other components. There are many components other than the ones listed here. Now let us see some of the components. J component is the base class for all the other components, without which, without inheriting it, we cannot implement any of the other components in it. J label is a label component which contains a text in a container, but it cannot be edited during the runtime. J button is a class that is a labeled button. We can create a labeled button that does some work or on click. J color chooser is something that gives us a color palette in which users are allowed to manipulate the color palette and choose some colors from it. J checkbox is some graphical component in which there can be either an on or off state. That is, we can give a list of options in which one or many or all, even all of the the boxes can be checked and selected, or it can also be unchecked and not selected. While whereas a radio button is something in which there is a list of options where only one of the components can be selected, and all the other components will be in the off state or unselected state. In a J list is something that provides the user with a list of options to choose from, while a J combo box is a combination of lists which is presented to the user to select a set of values to give a full value, like like choosing a date or choosing a year for date of birth, etc. The J text field is a text input interface where the text of a single line can be entered, while a password field is a text field where only a password that is hidden from the user's eyes can be entered. JText area is similar to JText field except the fact that many lines of text can be entered, and text wrapping can also be done. Image icon is an implementation of the icon interface that can paint the icons from the images that are being selected. Scroll bar is something that represents a scroll bar component. In order to enable the user to select from a range of values, it just creates a scroll bar which can be moved up and down. Option pane is something that gives us a dialog box in which we can enter a value or select a value from the external window pane. File chooser is something that gives the control to the user to choose a file, to upload it or move it or something, to do some action on a file inside the computer, and manipulate it using this Java language to select it. The progress bar is something that gives the user a representation of how much percentage of a task has been completed. It is progressed towards the completion. The progress bar displays a task percentage on its completion. It can be seen everywhere while moving or copying or pasting or doing some manipulation work that takes some time. The progress bar can be displayed. A slider is something that can be used to choose from a range of values from a bounded interval from like from 0 to 100. It can be seen in volume controls, in rate controls, in money controls, etc. It can be seen there. JSpinner is a class that is a single line input where a field that lets the user select by using a number or an object value from an ordered sequence. These are all something we can see about J components. Lastly, we are going to see a real world exercise on how to implement swing components in a swing program. So here is a simple form that we are going to create using the swing controls. First, we have to import the javax.swing.star package necessarily. We should also import the java.awt.star and java.aw.event.star packages to implement the action listener components inside this program. So first we are creating a class called myFrame, which extends JFrame, which is the frame controls that are available in the swing components, and it also implements action listener, which comes from the java.aw.event.star package. So now we are creating a set of components that we are going to implement in that form that we are creating. The components are listed here. See, this components are all the components, including like name, submit, reset, output, result, reset. All these options that have been given are listed here. Then we are going to create a string for the date object. So we are creating a string with 1 to 31 for dates, January, February up to December for months, and from a range of years that the user needs to give, that the user finds plausible, useful in this situation. Next, we are creating the method called myFrame. Here we are going to implement each and every component that we have been created before, and now we are going to implement it and give a definition for it in this components. See, we can see here for the title, we have given the name for the title. We have set the bounds, that the bounds are something, the placement in the screen where the uh, where the component has to be placed, the exact place where the component has to be placed. We are giving a default close operation where if we click on the X component, we can say it exits on close. So if we click on this, it will close the whole application. We are also setting the resizable as false, so that the frame is in a fixed size and cannot be resized. So as we have already defined all the objects, we are using the all the components. We are using the objects here to define this. So C is the container part. The title is something that is being displayed at the top of the application. So these are all how we are adding the components and giving the some methods or some ways of looks that we are defining for each and every form things. The continuation is given here. We can see all the new components that have been created and it has been defined here. This is the yet another continuation that is implemented as before. Again, it is just all these components that are being defined again. Still here, we are just implementing and adding all this thing. See, in sometimes we have to set some location and set the size instead of putting set bounds position. Also, in text area like things, we can use a text wrap, that's a line wrap, so that the text does not continue and put on a scroll bar in there, but it can just wrap around and put in a new line. So these are how these things have been defined. Now we are defining an action listener, that is an action perform on click event. So whenever a button is being clicked, we have to give a functionality to each and every one of this. So only every time a user does a thing, does any action on the form, these are the things that are being implemented, and this is the code for implementing all the components and all the actions that are being taken once the user clicks the appropriate clicks or enters the appropriate input. This is the continuation of the same. So at last we can see we are creating another class which is the public class. So in this public class we are calling the myFrame, which is the previous class, and in that myFrame all the code that we have entered before and all the components that we have entered before will be implemented, and final output will be given after we define this main class. So this is the registration form that we have been designing all along. This is the output of the form. So we can see here a name and a text box, mobile and a text box. This is a text field actually. The gender and radio buttons we have implemented so that only one of it can be clicked. Date of birth is a combo box where we can select from a list of items and give a specific value, a combinatory value. Address is a text area where we can enter multiple lines. This is a checkbox where accept terms and conditions, where we can check or uncheck. Submit and reset are some buttons we have given. Submit gives the output to the screen. The functionality of the submit is to give the output of what we have collected in this side of text area. Reset resets all the things fully. Once we click submit, the registration successfully will also appear at the as a label at the bottom of the form. This is a real life example of how we can implement Swing components to develop a registration form. So thank you everyone for watching this video. I think you really loved it and learned a lot from it. If you have any questions, just mail to this the mail ID that I have given here. But and also you can follow me and ping me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and other social media platforms. The credits of this template presentation goes to Slidesco, and it also includes the icons from Flaticon, infographics, and images from Freeclick. Thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.